Hey, welcome back to Nights and Weekends with me, Marcus, your host. This I don't know how long this is gonna be, but however long it is, it is. But the title of this video is Tim Pool is right about anchor babies and about illegal immigrants. Now, I am not going to play the game that the leftist does, which is try to change the language to try to have it be something different. No, it's not undocumented migrant. It is illegal alien. Period. End of story. And we're not going to go down that road. But no. I believe that Trump's executive order, when it does end up going to the Supreme Court, it is going to be found to be constitutional, because if you read the 14th Amendment, it's very plain. So, Ed and Marcus, hey, what's up? Throw in the first clip of what CBS says. By the way, CBS could stand in for CNN, MSNBC, Jimmy Kimmel, any place where you get your news from. It could just stand in for them, because they're all going to be singing this, but none of them actually read the actual freaking text. So throw that in, please.
I want to start with one of Trump's bolder orders, focusing on what we just talked about, ending birthright citizenship. Now, Jessica, is this even legal? How can he do this?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, let's be clear that there's a hierarchy of laws in our country. The Constitution, then pieces of legislation, executive orders that can have the force of law, but you cannot executive order your way out of the Constitution. The Constitution, I believe the vast majority of legal scholars, a vast majority who look at the language of the 14th Amendment and the history behind it. Let's remember that the 14th Amendment put into our Constitution after the Civil War to say to Black people and people who were formerly slaves, if you are born in this country, you are a full citizen, full stop. It does not matter what color you are. It does not matter your previous status as a slave. What matters is that you were born here. You are a full citizen. That has always been our understanding. Small caveat for the children of ambassadors in foreign countries. Now, can you executive order your way out of that understanding? I don't think so. So lots of legal questions when it comes to the other executive orders. For this one, I think we're looking at the necessity of a constitutional amendment.
All right.
So, just even look at the framing. How is this even legal? Blah, 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 blah. Again, person out there who may be watching this, you should question the bias of your news sources. If they try to play it off as if they are just calling balls and strikes, some people do. 90+% of journalists donate to the Democrats and also vote Democrat. So get the F out of here with that. So, Ed and Marcus, throw in the clip of Tim Pool reading out what the person wrote, what one of the people who wrote at the time of the writing of the 14th Amendment. Hit that up.
The argument is, no, it means that from this point forward, anybody who's born here is a citizen. That's actually not correct. And I have the tweet just for you, because it was Jacob B. Howard during the congressional debates on the 14th Amendment, specifically addressing the issue, and I quote, "This amendment, which I have offered, is simply declaratory of what I regard as the law of the land already, that every person born within the limits of the United States and subject to their jurisdiction is by virtue of natural law a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of person. It settles the great question of citizenship and removes all doubt as to what persons are or are not citizens of the United States. It's long been a great desideratum, pronouncing that wrong, in the jurisprudence of the legislation of this country." He quite literally stated in 1866 in the debate, in written historical quote, "This will not include foreigners, aliens, etc." So how, for the life of me, we got to this point where we were just like literally anybody at any point who comes here and has a kid, that kid's a citizen, is insane. I believe it is corrupt individuals seeking to corrupt ends to corrupt this country. And that is how, not even that long after this man died, he died only, I believe, about 5 years after this debate, they immediately said, well, now that we think about it, he must have meant everybody for all time. And here we are with this great conundrum as to what it means for this country to be a citizen. Donald Trump is correct in this executive order, and I hope the Supreme Court finds it as such.
So we have that there. Okay. And we're going to go here. We're actually going to do a little bit of reading.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts is right. Here we go. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States. Okay. Specifically did not write this for aliens, as we saw from Tim Pool's reading. We all know that was not what it was meant. No, I'm sorry. We all don't know. I know. You don't. Few other folks don't. Hate to come off as a condescending asshole here, but I know how to read. And it's right there. And subject to the jurisdiction thereof, which means that, better yet, I'll leave that for Ann Coulter. But the majority of Americans back this, back shipping people the hell out of here. Okay. This is from Axios, which is again is a left rag, but at least on this, they actually got down to the nitty gritty. Now, for me, I think that Trump is going to have to be like Thanos on this.
Finite, its resources finite. If life is left unchecked, life will cease to exist. It needs correction.
You don't know that!
I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
He's going to have the stomach. And like I mentioned before in one of my other videos that no one watched, okay, we as the American people are going to have the stomach to see, because the media, again, these leftist, liberal, white women and men and blacks and whoever are all going to show the poor kid being ripped from his parents' arms. I feel like Tom Holman on this one.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
That's right. Ship them both back. Okay. But as we can see here, 66% of Americans are in favor of deporting immigrants who are in the country illegally. Now, I hate to roll my eyes here. Okay. I can't possibly roll them anymore. Can I, James Harden?
Thanks, James.
So we are much like David from AI, because that's how our society is kind of raised. So throw that clip in.
I thought this would be hard for you to understand. You were created to be so young.
Maybe the one day will be like that one day inside the amphibicopter. Maybe it will last forever.
We act kind of like children, and we act as if, unfortunately, we can have our cake and eat it too. We can deport millions upon millions upon millions, if not tens of millions of people, with no innocent people being harmed. Unfortunately, better yet, fortunately, I'm not one of those folks who think that you can have it all. No, unfortunately, there are going to be innocent people who are going to get hurt and are going to be shipped back. And I am sorry, that is life. Okay. But support for it goes down as we actually talk about how we're going to do it. Now, if you look here on the Democrats zoned in at about 12% support for any, like, they want them gone, but they don't want to actually force them to go, which is ridiculous. Okay. But future Marcus, Ed and Marcus, throw in the clip of Ann Coulter, please.
Among the attacks I saw on the magnificent Donald Trump immigration plan was, he wants to get rid of anchor babies. And you can read the section in my book. It's very short. It's not from the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, you'll all remember, came after the Civil War. Remember what the Civil War was about? That was freeing the slaves. It wasn't about allowing illegal aliens to run across the border, drop a baby, and say, ha-ha, you missed me. I'm a citizen now.
Here we are.
I mean, do you think the framers of the 14th Amendment, that's what they were hoping to do? And she said, both she and Chris Christie, I saw saying on TV yesterday, well, of course you'd need a constitutional amendment to do that. That's crazy. Oh, and I'll throw in one other thing. The federal judge I quote in my book on this point, you may be familiar with your name, probably a lot of the listeners aren't, Judge Richard Posner. Very famous, respected, probably one of the most brilliant judges, absolutely no friend to social conservatives, I promise you. He's on the Seventh Circuit, the most cited federal judge. A few years ago, he concurred in an immigration opinion for the sole and exclusive purpose of adding a concurrence in which he denounced Congress for not repealing the anchor baby policy, saying this has nothing to do with the Constitution. Everyone knows it has nothing to do with the Constitution. Repeal it tomorrow and let's be done with this nonsense. Harry Reid went on the Senate floor saying, this is insane. No country. It is not in the Constitution, and any candidate who would say that and have no idea what the Civil War was about, no. All right.
So Ann Coulter just slam dunked it. Okay. The Civil War was fought for a reason. Thank God that they did. Okay. They ended slavery in this country. It's still slavery going on today, but it seems like only people want to focus in when white folks do it. That's absolutely kind of astounding to me. They don't get on it when Arabs do it, blacks do it, Asians do it, people in South America do it. They only get on it when white folks do it. It's nuts. But anyway, the Civil War was fought for a reason, okay? And that law was written specifically for descendants of slaves. And let's go back here. And this part here, and we were subject to the laws of the country because we weren't aliens to the country. Okay? We had been born here, lived here, and many generations going back before that. We weren't under the jurisdiction of Western African countries or tribes. So no. Any illegal here can take their asses right on back. But I'm sorry, I have to look at my notes over here. Okay. So something else just as important. These things cost money, meaning you can't just snap your fingers and 8,000 beds show up with 2 or 3 tons of food every day. It doesn't happen. So here in Chicago, people have been really pissed off about what is going on there. So as we can see here, it cost them $300 million since, and this was written almost a year ago, $300 million spent on migrant crisis since first bus arrived in 2022. And that is from the Illinois policy. Now, before any asshole out there say, oh, well, they are biased. We can click here. We click on our story and we just go here. Nonpartisan. It's a 501c3. And then the other one is a 501c4. Okay. Nonpartisan. They just don't like having their money spent and blown away. So let us look at the cost. Now, this right here is from NBC News. And just let us just look at the framing of this again. This is written in 2018, before inflation and hoflation and all the money printing that went on during COVID because people were too scared to actually, I don't know, open up PubMed or read something on NCBI and kind of understand that COVID was not going to kill everybody. It wasn't as bad as the Black Death. It wasn't going to put everybody out. But boy, we definitely printed up a whole lot of money, and now we got to deal with the inflation that has put out its whirlwind since then. But anyway, this is in 2018. Now, you have the Heritage Group, okay? They are a right-leaning conservative group. They put the price tag of illegal immigration at $54 billion a year back in 2018. Doge, we're going to zoom in on me because I'm done with this. Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, put it at $115 billion in today 2024, 2025 dollars. Okay. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, okay, by the grace of God, we happen to be born here in America, and we are citizens of this country. And I am sorry, it's going to come off as being an asshole or whatever. Since we live in a universe that is finite, with its resources being finite at any given time, okay, I'm not saying that you cannot grow the economic pie. You definitely can. But to have millions upon millions upon millions of not undocumented migrants, illegal aliens coming into the country, they cost you, the taxpayer, dollars. This is why Chicago, or better yet, let us just multiply what they said for Chicago, for all of our major big cities that were sanctuary cities or states or whatever. That's billions of dollars that doesn't go toward roads, buying salt for the winter, food for the homeless, schools, police, fire, retirement for some of these worthless ass teachers, etc. We don't live in a world where scarcity has been eliminated, much like it is in Star Trek, how they have replicators and they just press a button and a cup and coffee just appear.
Oh, hell, just forget all that and give me a martini straight up with 2 olives for the vitamins.
Here, we don't live in that world. Okay. So Tim Pool is right. Holman is going to be right. I pray to God that Trump is right and that the Supreme Court finds it right. Just because you're born here does not mean that, and especially if your parents came here illegally, that does not mean that you're a citizen. Okay. Dr. Victor David Hansen has a book that is somewhere upstairs. I read it, called The Dying Citizen. Citizenship comes with obligations. Citizenship comes with rights and privileges. And we cannot dilute what citizenship means. Again, you have idiots in this country who want to let illegals run for office. Oh, you think I'm lying? Future Marcus, find that when you're putting this video together, that they want undocumented migrants to be able to vote and be able to run for office. Well, Future Marcus had to do that again because he had his mic on mute. He had his microphone on mute. But here we go. We're going to read this really quick. 3 states and Washington, D.C. have municipalities that allow non-citizens to vote in certain local elections. San Francisco. Of course, it would be San Francisco. Again, a place where they just bust inside your car, take a shit in it, and steal your stuff out of it. And that's just normal. Okay? They allow them to vote in school board elections. Oakland is currently attempting to enact a similar law. Some cities in Maryland and Vermont permit non-citizens to vote in municipal elections. New York City tried to do it, but it was shot down as unconstitutional in 2022. And Washington, D.C., the capital of the nation, recently enacted a law to allow non-citizen residents to vote in all non-federal elections. Again, this is a slippery slope. They may not be able to hold office yet. They will, because we're full of dumbasses. But it is a slippery slope. And Tim Pool said it's right. It's more like a cliff. Okay, you'll get up to the edge, and then boom, everything is permissible. Like the social conservatives from the 50s and prior to that, and even up until the very beginning of the 60s, they were right. All the stuff that they said would end up happening because of the sexual revolution has come true. So yes, it is a slippery slope. If we allow non-citizens to vote, soon enough, we're going to have non-citizens holding office. All right. See y'all. Bye. All right. So I'm happy that the majority of the American public agree with me on this. And unfortunately, they just don't have the stomach. Okay. See y'all in a week. Bye.